We Are Change with host Howard Nima. Exposing the collectivist global elite's Malthusian quest for a new world order. A one-world dictatorial government where all aspects of human life are under their control. Truth Talk Radio, where news the mainstream media ignores is the top story and your voice is heard. Fridays 1 to 3 p.m. and Saturdays 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Only on informedradio.com.
This is going to be a great show. I got a lot of things planned. It's going to be quite an interesting experience. A lot of news to cover. A lot of pertinent information that the media ignores, because this is We Are Change, where news the controlled mainstream media ignores is the top story, and your voice is heard. Anyway, you can also check us out at wearechangect.org. There are rebroadcasts of all these shows at informedradio.com and video broadcasts at YouTube/Freedom First Films. Tomorrow, interestingly enough, is the 180th birthday of James Garfield, who was born on November 19th, 1831. He was shot on July 2nd, 1881. As everyone knows, he was, of course, assassinated. He died sometime later on the 19th of September of that year. But I just thought it's interesting. I'm going to do a whole perspective on the life of James Garfield tomorrow. And I thought I would just preamble that because it's going to be real interesting. I've got a lot of good stuff planned for it. Interestingly enough, the day that he was shot by Charles Guiteau, excuse me, who was like a real misfitted guy, like a whacked out sort of guy who was trying to get an ambassadorship. I'll go into the whole thing tomorrow. But he shot him on the 2nd of July, 1881 at a train station in Washington. Interestingly enough, if you add up the numbers, they're 999. 7 and 2 is 9, 1 and 8 is 9, and 8 and 1 is 9. I just never noticed that until recently when I had done some research on numerology because of this 11-11-11 phenomenon. And Cain's 999, which is Cain and like 666. Just sort of interesting stuff. So I'm just going to go into the what actually was the reported history of the murder of James Garfield and some of the things that he had said on record and some of the things about the banking industry. And you know, once again, history might not be revealing all the truth through those controlled textbooks that we read in school and read in libraries and such. Deep research, congressional testimony, like works by Eustace Mullins, you could find to be incredible how much stuff is just not reported by history in books like the World Order, written in 1985 by Eustace Mullins. Everybody should check it out. So anyway, news today. What's going on? Well, Oscar Romero Ortega Hernandez, of course, was arrested and in custody in Pennsylvania. He's in some really deep shit. Talk about deep shit. First of all, he shot at the White House. Now, the president wasn't there, but he has been charged by the Department of Justice with attempting to assassinate the president, which is like a pretty I mean, I don't think you can get any worse than that. And this guy is in some hard you know, they want to make an example out of him. They say, you're not going to do this. You're not going to, you know, the guy's obviously disturbed. It's hard to understand the whole situation with it, but the 21-year-old man wanted, in the connection with the shooting, is of course in custody, and they're going to throw the book at him, and he is screwed. Police said Ortega Hernandez was not tied to any fringe or radical groups, so they're saying that he's a lone gunman type person or a lone person. According to the Associated Press, Ortega Hernandez is from Idaho Falls, Idaho, and was reported missing by his family on October 31st. So they've been looking for this guy. Obviously, he's got some issues. Looking at the picture of him, he looks, you know, I don't know if anybody's ever seen the picture of him, but certainly an interesting-looking character. The U.S. Park Police Monday searched the Occupy D.C. encampment over there, and they followed up reportings of sightings of Ortiz Hernandez among the protest groups, and that's how they nabbed his ass. So he's finished. Anyway, the D.C. shooting suspect could have been a threat. Yeah, we know that, of course. ABC News reported that. They're, of course, pre-reporting the news. This was reported, as we know, that he could be a threat to Obama. even though Obama was not in town. So that makes no sense to me, personally. I mean, I understand what the guy did a very bad thing. And he's going to obviously be seriously punished. Even under normal terms, or what you would consider to be reasonable terms, unlike this like fascist judicial system that's been like evolving over the last 50 years, slowly evolving into this police state where the prison rates are having all of these minor infractions and everything's a crime, and you know, it's just getting to be this way, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I'm here on the radio, and that's why you should all be listening to We Are Change, Fridays from 1 to 3 and Saturdays 3 to 5 p.m. here on informedradio.com. This is where the news the controlled mainstream media ignores is the top story, and this is not what they're talking about. I mean, why? Listen to this. This poor guy did a really bad thing. I know that it's horrible to shoot at the White House, but Obama's not there. How can they say that it's an attempt to kill the president? It just doesn't make sense. That's like me shooting at my neighbor's house when they're not home. It's damage. You know, it's a violation. It's damage. You broke something. You did, you know. But I didn't try to kill him. You know, even if I was angry at him, I shot at his dog. I mean, it happens all the time. And I mean, come on, let's report that. No. Let's report that police do that. That they shoot dogs and animals. Let's report that they're, you know. Let's turn around the cops show that's been on for 20 years, mimicking. Excuse me. Making fun of all the lowlifes and degenerates, and just showing them to make so that America can laugh at them while they're being incarcerated, drunk off their ass, and these like white trash and whatever type of people that they are, and everybody laughs and thinks it's a great thing, not realizing that. And then on the flip side, I mean, there's just as bad stuff going on that they're not showing you. Exactly the opposite, where the police are, you know, they're trying to put the police in this particular light. That's not true, and it's not the police's fault. It's the system. It's the way that they explain to these cops how to react to situations, and what they're supposed to do. And what they do is tyranny, and most of them accept doing it, like spraying mace in an 85-year-old woman's face. I don't care what she did. I don't care if she slapped me in the face 5 times, 100 times. How the hell could you mace an 85-year-old woman? It's bringing tears to my eyes. I swear to God, it's unbelievable what is going on. And they try to just distort the truth. That's the truth. These people are angry because the criminals have hijacked our governments worldwide to bring us into a new world order that is going to make all of this trouble look like just a, you know, a bad day at the you know, a bad day on the stock market. This is nothing to what's going to come. Anyway, so much for the police messing up that whole thing. The Department of Justice, I should say. I shouldn't say the police. DC suspect is he definitely was, just because he said he hated the president and fired at the White House, they charged him with attempting to kill the president. So, I mean, they want to hang him, they want to literally have him put to death. Okay. Okay. You defy tyranny in whichever way you perceive it. Instead of putting him into a mental institution, or saying that he's, you know, obviously, you know, needs some assistance. No, they're going to charge him with attempting to kill the president. More money for the government to have to spend defending this thing. This poor guy probably is broke, desperate, insane, and needs help. Now they'll help illegal aliens come across the border, and you know, even though you know, I mean, I had a whole piece on that. I mean, they'll help them. They'll help that, but they won't help somebody that really needs some mental help because he fired some bullets at the White House. I don't know why it bothers me so much. I mean, the guy's obviously insane, but it's just, how can you in charge? I mean, that's the thing. How could you have the conscience to charge somebody that's obviously mentally ill. His family's looking for him for 2 weeks. They know that something's wrong with him. It's like he's like Charles Guiteau. Interestingly enough, he's like Charles Guiteau. Very much like Charles Guiteau. Maybe I should talk about James Garfield, whose birthday is tomorrow. See, Charles Guiteau was a part of the Oneida Society, who believed in perfectionism, which was that Jesus Christ had already come to the, he'd already come back, he'd risen, he's came back, and in the year 70, and he'd risen, but he came back. The rapture had occurred, in other words, and Christ is so that everyone's free from sin because he returned in the year 70, and everybody was having sex with everybody, and it was wild. They had these unorthodox sex practices. It was like an offshoot. Now I'm not trying to mock the Mormons, but it's like an offshoot of Mormonism, and it was created by I'm trying to remember the guy's name. Oh my God, the Oneida Society. It was in like the 1840s, and the guy who started it was I can't remember his name. Anyway, that was just a digression. But tomorrow's show, I'll cover everything. So again, tune in tomorrow, and tune in every Saturday, 3 to 5, here at informradio.com. All right. Obama is also praising Australia's draconian carbon tax. Now, he's just... I mean, it's so obvious, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody, just pay attention to this. He says one thing and does the opposite for the benefit of his minions, the people that got him elected, the people that he must pay to them. This is the way of continuing the regime, because it is not the president, but it is the power structure controlled by the elite, and that is the entire story. The pyramid of evil begins with this puppet president, everybody just believing what he says. They got themselves the slickest, perfect person. Okay? He can say that, in one hand, everybody plant a garden, and then in the other hand, make laws that are against planting gardens, and arrest people for raw milk, and have the FDA going wild. I mean, it's psychological warfare on the American public, and now he's got this. He's in Australia, okay. He's praising Australia's draconian carbon taxes, okay, while at the same time, the climate change signal is expected to be relatively small over the next 20 to 30 years. This is from the BBC, written by Richard Black. There's low confidence that tropical climate change signals have become more frequent, limited to medium evidence available to assess whether climate factors have changed the frequency of floods. And it's not true. It's small. While it's likely that influences are behind the changes in cold days and warm days, there's only medium confidence that they are behind the changes in extreme rainfall events, and low confidence in attributing any tropical cyclone activity to greenhouse gas emissions or anything else humanity has ever done. Okay? Of course, global warming is a fraud, but meanwhile, he's backing Rothschild's bank. Okay? This is how it works. The Goldman Sachs buddies and all these people, the Rothschilds, they got him elected to continue the agenda. And he's just fooling the population, saying he was going to do all these things, give you 5 days to read a bill, going to give the American, slammed Obamacare down everybody's throat, turning socialism into fascism, going wild with the FDA. I mean, it's just unbearable.